Every era of K-dramas eventually asks the same question: who's the next big thing? Before, it was Song Hye-kyo and Jun Ji-hyun defining what a female lead could be. Then came Shin Min-ah and Park Min-young, shaping the modern era of K-drama heroines. Right now, one name keeps entering that conversation: Go Youn-jung. She is everywhere, casting announcements, streaming hits, nonstop industry attention. So here's the real question: is Go Youn-jung truly becoming the next K-drama female lead icon, or is she simply the industry's newest favorite? Before we answer that, we need to rewind, because none of this was ever part of the plan. Go Youn-jung was born on April 22, 1996, in Seoul, and acting was never the plan. She studied contemporary art at Seoul Women's University, and for nearly 7 years, art was her entire world. But by college, she's admitted she felt burned out. She hit a creative slump, worried constantly about her future, and slowly lost the joy when art became about grades and evaluations instead of expression. Then came a moment that felt small at the time, but changed everything. While still in school, she accepted a photo shoot request from a senior in the photography department. That one shoot led her to casually apply for university tomorrow. She didn't expect much, but within days, she was selected as a cover model. That's when agencies started reaching out. At first, she said no. Over and over. Entertainment wasn't part of her plan, and fame wasn't something she was chasing. But after one management CEO encouraged her to try it first, she paused and gave it real thought. Instead of jumping in blindly, she studied. She watched around 5 movies a day for several months, not for fun, but to understand how acting worked inside a larger process. What fascinated her wasn't just performance, but how filmmaking was collaborative, how stories were built together instead of alone. That became the turning point. Without industry backing or formal training, she used her modeling earnings to pay for acting lessons herself. After about 6 months, she made a decision that already said a lot about her mindset. She auditioned for Parasite. Not a small project, not a beginner role. Her first professional audition ever was for a film directed by Bong Joon-ho. No safety net, no long acting resume, and she still walked into that room. She later revealed she made it to the final candidate group for the role of Cho Yo-jung's daughter. She described the experience as dreamlike, like she was watching celebrities up close. Bong Joon-ho even told her she resembled Cho Yo-jung, which is why she was seriously considered. Imagine that for a second. One different decision, and Go Youn-jung could have debuted in Parasite, but she didn't get the role. And instead of discouraging her, that near miss did the opposite. She said it made her stop treating acting like a trial run and start committing to it as a real path. Later that same year, she made her official acting debut in He is Psychometric, and her first role already revealed a lot about her priorities. Despite her visuals, she didn't debut as the usual mean girl or campus beauty. She played Kim So-hyun, a young single mother carrying trauma and responsibility. It was quiet, emotionally heavy, and far from glamorous. For a newcomer, that was a risky first impression, but it showed something early on. Go Youn-jung wasn't trying to be instantly iconic. She was trying to learn how to act. Then came Netflix. Her appearance in the School Nurse Files was brief, but global. And soon after, Sweet Home made people remember her. As Park Yuri, she played calm strength in the middle of chaos. No romance, no fan service, just presence. Korean media began calling her a standout rookie, and the label stuck. Law school sealed it.
중간고사 기간인데 공부 열심히 하고 계신가요? 오늘 공부할 과목은 양크라테스의 형법과 김은숙 교수님의 민법입니다.
As Jeon Ye-sul, she stepped into heavier emotional territory, playing a character shaped by abuse and internal conflict. This wasn't popularity built on romance or chemistry edits. People talked about the role because it was well written, and because Go Youn-jung handled difficult material with care and sincerity. By the end of Sweet Home and Law School, the narrative around her quietly shifted. She wasn't just pretty, she wasn't just promising. She was an actress with presence, clear taste in roles, and performances that made casting directors take notice. And it worked. But her rise didn't come without resistance, because this is the point where people seriously started questioning Go Youn-jung as an actress. And that moment was Alchemy of Souls. This is where the word overrated first entered the conversation.
그래, 와서 잡아 먹어라! 호랑이한테 먹히면 나도 돌탑하는 세워주겠지.
Alchemy of Souls is built around body and soul switching. In Part 1, the assassin Naksu's soul lives inside Moo-deok's body, played by Jung So-min. Go Youn-jung appears as Naksu's original form, more a presence in the background than the emotional center, and Part 1 runs long enough for audiences to get attached. Moo-deok's dynamic, especially her romance with Lee Jae-wook's Jong-uk, becomes the heart of the show. For many fans, that is Alchemy of Souls. So when the story continues and Go Youn-jung steps forward as the female lead, the reaction isn't neutral. It's emotional. Viewers aren't just watching a new performance, they're being asked to let go of something they already loved. That's where the criticism begins. Not because she can't act, but because it feels different. Expectations are already set. Emotional attachment is hard to transfer. And that discomfort quickly turns into a bigger question. Is she really living up to everything people are saying about her? But here's the thing. Is that actually a fair test? This wasn't a blank slate role. She didn't enter a fresh story. She stepped into an emotionally charged fandom, inherited nonstop, comparison, and played a character whose identity was intentionally held back by the writing. And this part matters. If Go Youn-jung were truly overrated, Alchemy of Souls would have stalled her momentum. It didn't. Instead, the next phase of her career did the opposite. It placed her in a role where looks don't save you, editing doesn't save you, and built-in loyalty doesn't save you. Because in moving, you either deliver or you fade.
활동복 있어?
내일 사물함에 있어. 왜?
나 좀 빌려주라. 어서 딴 냄새가 너무 나. 믿고 뛰었더니.
If you're not familiar, Moving is a Korean action fantasy series written by Kang Ful and directed by Park In-jae and Park Yoon-seo. It starts simply 3 high school students who seem ordinary, but each has inherited superhuman abilities from their parents. What makes Moving land isn't just the powers, it's the idea that the parents already know how dangerous the world is for people like their kids, and have spent years hiding painful truths to protect them. What begins as school life slowly grows into something much bigger, with powerful forces hunting people with abilities. Structurally, it's a 2-layer story. The kids in the present and the parents' pasts explaining how everything went wrong. So where does Go Youn-jung fit into this? She plays Jang Hoi-soo, a transfer student defined by physical strength, emotional control, and quiet toughness. Her ability, rapid self-healing, fits her perfectly. She takes the hit, gets back up, and keeps going. Hoi-soo stands out because she feels grounded, athletic, and controlled. Go Youn-jung has said the character felt close to her real personality, especially the way Hoi-soo doesn't express emotions outwardly. Even her low, husky voice became part of the character's identity, something the writer intentionally leaned into. What makes this performance matter even more is the environment around it. Moving features a veteran-heavy cast: Ryu Seong-ryong, Han Hyo-ju, Jo In-sung, Cha Tae-hyun, yet the story places the teenage trio at the emotional and narrative center. Go Youn-jung isn't protected by the ensemble, she's positioned exactly where attention naturally goes. She's also been very open about the pressure. Being cast early, then slowly realizing the scale of Moving, the story, the budget, the veteran-heavy cast, pushed Go Youn-jung to treat the role as a real performance test, not a breakout moment, a responsibility. And that focus shows on screen. Even with such a large ensemble and split timelines, she never fades into the background. And it's not because of her looks. In Moving, she isn't styled as a glamorous lead. She's a scruffy high schooler just trying to make sense of the world and live as normally as possible with her single father. What people respond to isn't her face. It's her physical presence, emotional control, and consistency. She grounds the role without relying on shortcuts. Once an actress proves she can hold attention in a project this big, surrounded by veterans under real pressure and backed by awards, the conversation naturally shifts. And yet, even as the praise grows, the same question keeps following her. Are people calling Go Youn-jung great because she's genuinely delivering, or because the camera simply loves her? In a 2025 interview, she openly talked about the pressure of constantly being labeled pretty and how easily that label can shrink the work she's actually doing. When attention shifts too quickly to appearance, performances can get flattened, choices can be overlooked, and effort can quietly disappear. It's a familiar tension for actresses who rise fast, when visibility starts working against credibility. That kind of pushback is common once a breakout turns into nonstop casting headlines. But instead of slowing down or retreating, Go Youn-jung leans into it. She chooses roles that directly test that doubt. The first real answer comes with Resident Playbook. In the hospital playlist spin-off, she plays Oh Yi-young, a first-year OB/GYN resident working exhausting shifts at Yulja Medical Center's Jongno branch.
저는 그럴 능력과 성실함이 없습니다. 죄송합니다.
She isn't styled to look perfect. Most of the time, she's running on little sleep, sighing through back-to-back shifts, mentally drained and barely holding it together between patients. The drama spends far more time showing her fatigue than making her look camera-ready. And yet, audiences stayed with her because the role works on believability. Long hours, emotional burnout, small, quiet reactions. It's the kind of performance that only lands if viewers trust what they're seeing. Her character enters residency out of necessity, not passion, working to pay off debt, guarded on the outside, softer underneath. It's a role that lives or dies on trust. And viewers responded. During its run, Resident Playbook hit #1 on Good Data Corporation's weekly buzz list, and Go Youn-jung ranked #1 on the actor list that same week. The attention didn't come from big scenes or viral moments. It came from people recognizing themselves in her portrayal of a young doctor just trying to get through the day. And that's what makes her next step interesting. Because after proving she can carry a grounded, everyday role built on exhaustion and small emotions, Go Youn-jung pivots into something completely different. With Can This Love Be Translated, she steps into the clearest test of her career so far.
저기 저 산 어딘가에 진짜 폭포가 있겠죠?
분명히 있긴 있었어요.
저거 폭포인가?
At first glance, it gets labeled as a Netflix rom-com, but once you look closer, it's obvious this isn't a simple love story built on jokes or easy chemistry. It's a story about misinterpretation, not just of language, but of people. The drama follows Joo Ho-jin, played by Kim Seon-ho, a multilingual interpreter fluent in Korean, English, Japanese, and Italian. He's precise with words, but completely lost when it comes to emotions. Opposite him is Cha Moo-hee, played by Go Youn-jung, a global celebrity whose life is constantly filtered through managers, media, subtitles, and assumptions. And that's where the drama really lives. Cha Moo-hee isn't written as a fantasy girlfriend or a quirky rom-com lead. She's someone whose emotions are constantly being interpreted by others, professionally, culturally, emotionally. Even when people think they understand her, something always slips through. That makes this role quietly demanding. Yes, the project gives her everything a K-drama star could want. A Hong Sisters script, a leading man already trusted for chemistry-driven storytelling, and Netflix's global platform. But the role itself doesn't hand her easy wins. There's no genre safety net here, no action scenes, no fantasy framework to lean on. The story only works if audiences stay emotionally connected to her, across languages, locations, and long stretches where the character isn't fully understood, even by the people closest to her. In a way, the show turns Go Youn-jung into its core. Question: can someone who's constantly watched still be truly seen? That's why Can This Love Be Translated doesn't feel like a victory lap. It feels like a trust exercise, not just from viewers, but from the industry. It's asking whether Go Youn-jung can anchor a globally facing drama where connection is fragile, misunderstandings are the point, and the emotional payoff depends entirely on how deeply audiences want to follow her. Which brings us back to the question that's followed her entire career. Is Go Youn-jung the next big thing? Or is this just a passing moment? Right now, we don't fully know, but the signs are hard to ignore. Go Youn-jung has already passed the parts of the journey that many rising stars never do. She's faced lead switch backlash, carried the overrated label, stood alongside veteran casts, and stepped into the global spotlight early in her career. And she didn't disappear. What remains now is the hardest test of all: consistency. If she continues choosing roles that require control, vulnerability, and real emotional depth, then she isn't simply the industry's newest favorite. She becomes the next defining face of K-drama. And at this point, things are looking very good for her. So what do you think? Is Go Youn-jung on her way to becoming the next true female lead icon? Or is she simply benefiting from perfect timing and the right projects? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you're watching Can This Love Be Translated? Let me know what you think so far. While you're here, check out our other videos on K-dramas with confirmed trailers. You might be surprised by what's coming next.